Welcome. Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, right? Because I'm here. It's Tuesday, and I am Gwendolyn G.R. Houston Jack. You're watching a live episode of Small Biz Bites. This is streaming live to LinkedIn and to YouTube. If you're on YouTube, I would love it if you would like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I could be a handful for some. I could be a handful. That's okay. The world needs more handfuls right about now. So trust and believe. So today, I am excited to bring back one of our guests. Nope, there is no blue powder bombs today. We're not doing that today. Yes, I am still drinking something because, sometimes the world, well, first of all, it's a mimosa, which is why I never understood the whole discussion of you can't drink before a certain time. It's like, but what do you think mimosas are? Like, hello? So I don't, whatever, but it's a mimosa. Before we bring on our guest, shout out to my compadre, Chris Edwards. Hello, good afternoon to you, sir. And yes, we need more handfuls all day long. So I'm excited to bring our guest back to the stage. It's going to be Dr. Tachi.
For me?
Yes, the crowd is going
Thank you.
I was sitting here saying to myself, okay, Gwendolyn, is today going to be it? I thought, wait a minute, I am running and gunning today. And as a Virgo who lives and dies by her calendar, today is that one. It is it. Hence the mimosa.
Listen, you deserve, I'm sending you mimosa energy. You deserve it.
And yes, Chris, we are, I'm gonna lay the confetti down for a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm still looking at some blueness right now. I'm not gonna lie.
I was wondering if there was still, I'm sure it's still around tracings, and that you'll be finding that for the next millennium. I'm telling you.
I believe so. So we did the immediate, right? Because I have to work. So we did the immediate, and then the tip top shelves and walls have not been touched. It's a lot. It is a lot. I really, as you mentioned, I'm going to find blue powder for a while. I need to take everything out. That's asking for a lot from this chick. So I was like, no, I'm going to have to do enough to get through some things and to get work done. And then I will slowly come back into taking things out, dusting them, wiping them down. My guitar is blue. It's like a little turquoise something, but it's very much blue.
Which would be cute if it was intended to be blue.
Right, exactly, but it is not. So clearly I don't play the guitar enough because it's still blue. Clearly. Dr. Tachi, how are you, ma'am?
Listen, I am better than fantastic. Can I just say that? I am better than fantastic. Today has been an amazing day. We had our first already that I was accepted into a Funding Founders cohort that is put together by Pharrell Williams. So today was our first session. So I was like, let me write things down, because that's the type of mentorship that you need to write down everything.
Yeah, for sure. I was like, oh, this is exciting. Now, before we go though, I believe the people may want a little bit more about that. So would you share a little bit more about that great moment for yourself?
Yeah. So I applied Listen, I don't even remember when I applied. When I got the acceptance, I forgot that I even applied. So it is a program that is meant for founders of companies and businesses in the state of Florida. So this is like a Florida funders thing. But one thing, the Black Ambition, the whole Black Ambition Prize, and everything, the CEO is from Miami. And so I think she had quite a bit to do with setting up something in the state of Florida for Florida founders and startups. So I applied and I got it. I got in. So I'm really excited about that.
We're excited for you too. Like I say every time, and some people don't think it's legit, but it's legit. If my people are winning, I am winning. Right?
Absolutely.
And there are some people who are like, well, so-and-so's doing this and da-da-da. Just because it's not your season, not your time, does not mean you cannot celebrate somebody else. Cut it out. Cut it out.
My thing is, like, you should want to surround yourselves with people that are doing well and going somewhere. Why would you surround yourselves with a bunch of capybaras and sloths?
First of all, I like the capybaras. They're cute. But yes.
They're also rodents. Okay?
They are
They're also
rodents. They're really big rodents, but they are rodents.
Yes, which is like, big rat. Okay, but they are cute. They are cute, but they're big rats. So why would you want to surround yourself with that when you're trying to soar with the eagles? You should want to have people doing well in your circle. Because and I say this all the time, if you are only tall because you forced everyone to their knees, there's a problem with you.
There's a problem. You are right. Mm-hmm. We're not hanging out with the chickens. We are soaring with the eagles.
Soaring with the eagles, my friend.
Shout out to Mr. Ron Foster, who is here. Good afternoon, sir. All right, Dr. Tachi. Now, this is going to be a casual conversation.
Yeah.
Because the last time you came here, we had a great deal happening on all sides. On all sides,
listen,
we had a great deal happening.
Listen,
but we, I have a couple of questions here because every time I'm talking about something, I'm like, so how y'all feel about this? No. How y'all feel about this? No. So I put out a post about peeps. Now, people who know me understand that I roll with my peeps. Okay, love peeps. I have peep paraphernalia in the house. And so I recently picked up a package of churro peeps and Rice Krispie peeps. And I said, how many of you guys love a good peep? And a certain someone said, that is a no, because we don't do marshmallows. And I thought, well, Dr. Tachi, damn it, what do you do? Because like, you don't do condiments, right? Well, you don't do mayo.
Ugh.
I'm gonna let that one slide. You don't do marshmallows, which is just. So what do you enjoy? Because you also don't really drink per se, right? But you did have a mojito recently.
I did. I went to go see my good friend, Clarence Brooks. Shout out Clarence. He performs. He's been a dancer forever. First of all, he's 65 and he performs with 6 companies in the New York City area. So he was part of a project down here called Apollo, which was really looking at societal values, what's happening. And I knew all the dancers in the piece except for one. That shows you how long I've been entrenched in the dance scene. But anyway, he came down here at the place, the Miami Theater Center. They were doing a toast afterwards. Only in Miami is the toast going to be with mojitos. So of course I had one because mojito is like a non-serious drink. Okay. So I had that recently.
So here's my question. What do you enjoy in regards to food and or cocktails or drinks, I should say?
I like sparkling water. I do.
I'm like,
I like lemonade and limeade. That's if you come to my house, that's what you will find in the fridge. You'll find oat milk or almond milk, sparkling water, and lemonade. So flavored sparkling water, like not sweetened, but flavored sparkling water. I do like a good lemonade or limeade. Uh, that I'll definitely do. But everything else just seems overly sugary to me. So I'm the type of person that, you know how you all in the South, like, as you call it, sweet tea.
It's sweet
I'll
tea.
cut
Oh
it.
yeah.
I'll cut it with water because it's too much. So yeah. So I do, like, to me it's like syrup. So I'll do like a little bit and then the rest will be water. So but I do like, see, here's my thing. If you cook food properly, you cook the food properly, you don't need a whole bunch of condiments and such. I'm just saying, if you season it well. If you go to McDonald's, yes, of course, you're going to need some condiments or whatever. But if you season your food well, you can do without these things. So I love Indian food.
Okay.
I love Mexican food, of course, African food, West African. Jollof rice. I can eat a bowl of jollof rice all day and I'll be fine. I also am. I adore Ethiopian food, Ethiopian Eritrean food. I lived in DC for 9 years, and you can't live in DC and not become indoctrinated with Ethiopian food because there's a huge number of Ethiopians there. So I love those types of things. I do Greek food. I love world foods. I really do. Okay. So things that are interesting and complex and made with history and love. I like those.
You know, I can appreciate that. My dad always said that if you have really good barbecue, it doesn't need sauce. And so for me, like, if you have barbecue and it's slathered in something, I feel like you're hiding something. Like you didn't do a good job.
Is this meat spoiled? Yeah, it's like
I mean, you know, I just mean something's not right. It's like, why we gotta have all this sauce on here? Like, I don't understand. Like, it's
now,
just...
see, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm excited about sauce. I can eat barbecue sauce. Barbecue sauce I will eat. Yes. But I'm not one that just slather it. Like when my mother would do it, you cook the barbecue sauce onto the meat. You don't put it on afterwards. Who does that? I see people who do that. No, It has to be cooked onto the meat. Now, if you want some more for dipping, fine, but it has to be cooked onto the meat. But if you know how to grill and barbecue well with the seasonings, you're right. You don't necessarily need sauce.
Well, I do enjoy good seasoned food. Like I'm not big on fake things that make food spicy. I need natural spice in my food.
Love good spice. And again, being African, you grow up on that kind of spice. So spice doesn't bother me. Yeah. So some people are, oh, it's a little spicy. I was like, where?
I like this spicy too. I mean, when I have my grits in the morning, I have my smoked sea salt and I have my cayenne pepper. That's how I'm rolling. And my eggs, like I like a good spice. Start.
Shout out to you for turning me on to that smoked sea salt.
Yes. It was really good. Really, really
so good.
They did a truffle oil. Limited edition truffle oil. I'm almost out. I'm trying to like say that last little bit because it's that good. I know. I should have bought 2 bottles, but I was like, no.
Yes.
I don't know why I just bought the one. I was like, what was I thinking?
Because this is the thing. When you know that something is probably going to be good, but you're apprehensive. When you only buy one, that's when it sells out. Right. Buy more than one because then even if you don't like it, you can give it to someone.
You can gift it. Yeah. Their truffle oil was delicioso.
Oh, wow.
I hope they bring it back. I hope they bring that back. But you know what? This is a great segue because we're talking about today how to be more And before we get into that, would you tell the people what be more I got to put a little facial something into it. Be more In case you didn't pick up, people, yes, be more
Yes.
Would you tell us what that's about, please?
Sure. So let me start with the history of that. I don't know if a lot of people know about the history. So in the pandemic, this concept actually came up during the pandemic. And so during the pandemic, I was doing Mediascope and I was talking to the audience and I said, listen, with all the free education that's out there now because of the pandemic, all these courses and trainings, you better come out smarter, wiser, wealthier. Damn it, just be more. And that's where it came from. So that's the concept of being your best, leveling up, being more than. And so I just called it being more. Adding ER to anything makes it more than. So
littler.
Well, see, why are you trying to cause? So you were the one that caused trouble when you were little, weren't you?
No.
Yeah, no, well, it is more than, because
it is
you're little,
to
be littler is to be more little. So there.
Be more little. we don't want to do that. And I have watched a few of your Be More videos and conversations, and I always leave with tons more information that I came with, because we know that you have a background in media and in film. And so for someone like myself, I'm like, okay, what can I take from this conversation to do it? Now, the last time we chatted, giving people ideas for social media and just showing up, like video ideas in terms of tools like lighting, video, sound.
Yes.
Right? We were talking about that. In
Calypso,
regards to being
that's what I call it.
Yes. What I'm going to say, let's just say, what 3 or 4 tips would you give someone who's like, look, I've been doing it for 6 months. How do I now get to that next level? And here's my little asterisk moment there. It's noisy. It is noisy out here in these video streets. It's noisy. Okay. Everybody and their mama, except for my mama, got a podcast. Right?
Yes.
We may get, hey, shout out to mom. We may get her one. We may get mama a podcast, but everybody's got a podcast right now. And so there's a lot of, in my head, it can feel like a lot of noise. Some of us are trying to follow trends. Some of us just trying to figure out, like, how do I get in here? What's the first bit of advice to be more that you would give someone who's, I'm going to say 6 months in, because a lot of folks do the first 3 months and they just stop. I need to get 6 months in.
Yes, that's an excellent question. Keep going, I would say, because it takes a while to build your space and build your community. I think many of us have gotten on this bandwagon of, X amount of followers, X amount of subscribers. Do you know how long it took for people to get to that point? So many of the major, I'll just take YouTube because that is my space. Many of the YouTubers you see, they've been actually doing this doing YouTube at least, I'm going to take Jackie Aina, right? Jackie Aina is a beauty influencer. She got on YouTube in 2009. So she's been doing this now for, soon it will be 20 years. So she's been doing this now for 16 years, right? There are people that have been doing this for 10 years. It takes time. So keep going, keep doing it, because it's about the consistency of it. And I will say that people appreciate the consistency. So even if you don't have all the best equipment, even if you don't have what you think you need in order to do it, you do. You have you and you have a phone probably. Just keep going. And your audience will then appreciate when you make the effort to get better. So that's one thing, to keep going. I would also say, I think this is before the keep going, or it can be after. You need to assess and evaluate who you're speaking to. So these are all things that are not necessarily connected with the physical act of recording. This is kind of like the pre-production, I would say, right? The planning and pre-production phases. Have you assessed what your message is and who it's going to? I think people just get up and they're like, I'm going to go live, or I'm going to do this and see what happens. And for some people it works, but for an overwhelming amount of people, it may not work, which means you have to be very pointed and very clear about who your audience is. Otherwise, you could be talking to the wrong people on the wrong platform, and then you will get frustrated. Well, did you do your background work to know that the people you want to speak to are there? No, you just got on because you saw Shuquela and them went live and they're making a bunch of money.
Well,
I'm just saying. Shuquela put in her work, okay?
Shuquela put in her work, she did. Well,
Yes.
okay, so
Yes.
I was thinking about when you mentioned consistency and
Mhm.
your audience, I know there is a place for when people say, oh, we'll just do this latest, greatest trend. I
Mhm.
am not a person who enjoys trends. I believe in things that are timeless. I love evergreen. Even in regards to like just life in general, jumping on fad diets, I don't get it. Your advice for those who are trying to decide, should I pick up this trend? Should I try it? If you want to try a trend, should you make it your own? What's your thoughts about some of the trends that really do come and go fairly quickly?
They do. So trends are very fleeting. And to your point, yes, make it your own. If you're going to do it, do something different, because then it gets lost in the sea of rubbish that is this trend, right? So because it's a trend, it's not meant to stay around forever. If you are at the very beginning of your, shall we call it broadcasting, of your video career, and you do a whole bunch of trends, you're going to become known as the trend boy or trend guy or trend girl, right? And people are only going to come to you because they got hooked on this one time, this one viral video, right? So you have to decide what you want your brand to be. This is about brand identity. And these are things that creators don't often think about because they don't view it as a business. Maybe if you're doing it as a hobby, that's a different case. But the moment you start to monetize, believe me, it's a business. I don't care how you view it. It is now a business because YouTube or whoever will send you a 1099. So it is now a business. Okay. So you have to decide what your brand identity is and if hopping on these trends is something you want to do. And there's no harm in doing that. But if your only MO is doing these trends, or let me tell you what I hate. You didn't ask, but I'm going to tell you. Those videos that are duets or the side by side of another creator who has video, and then they're just sitting there nodding and pointing. What are you doing? What value have you added to you're supposed to duet and you're supposed to collaborate on a video when you have something valid to add, when you can take this point or this video further. You sitting there nodding and pointing does nothing for me, madame, monsieur.
You know, Dr. Tachi, you were in my head because I see those and I say to myself, I don't get it. I don't understand. If anything, you're just replaying someone else's video and like writing the coattails. I find it agitating. And if I may, I find it just a little lazy. Like, do your job, be creative, do like add a little something, find your soapbox, stand on it, do something. But to just like replay someone else's video, I'm like, I don't get it. Who made that an idea and why?
The epitome of laziness. Okay, I think, and the thing is, I think whoever saw that is because it is a way to beef up your video portfolio, to get your account flooded with videos, but it doesn't require any effort from you beyond, duet and shooting yourself nodding and pointing. Right? So like all these things that are like, it's not about quantity. It is about the quality and the body of work that you produce. And there are so many other people that are producing videos that if that's all you have to offer, after a while, people are not going to want to stick around for it. Not when people are producing whole radio dramas and producing whole, soap operas where they're playing every character. Let me tell you, I have seen some amazing people writing scripts, playing every damn character in the thing. And you are telling me that you nodding and pointing is equivalent to that? Get out of here. No.
Let me hold on. I want to ride that train a little bit longer. Shout out to
Please.
Serena, who is here. Hey, hello, Serena. How are you? We also have here Tanya Easterling is here. She says, "Oh my God, yes, I
Hello.
thought I was the only one on earth that disliked those. No, you are
Please
not
join the club.
alone. You are not alone. They are the worst." Serena says, "LOL, how dare they?" It is laziness. It's laziness.
It is lazy.
I'm like, I'm like,
Ugh.
what? Like, what?
Yeah, I mean, as my mother's favorite thing to say is, they're just damn lazy. That's exactly what it is. Damn lazy.
So let me stay on this creative train, because just Monday, Gwendolyn put out that I'm not a fan of algorithms. I say screw it, like screw all of them, like just
Forget
don't.
them.
And I literally remember putting in my message that focus on the quality of your content, your posts, right? Focus on the quality, be yourself, and your people will find you.
Yes.
Now, in this latest swing of time, we have seen that authenticity has become a crock. People are getting on here, and forgive me, Lord, when I say this, doing all of the tears and the vulnerability performances. Now, I do believe there is a place for being honest and vulnerable.
Yes.
I believe in that. I wholeheartedly, because somebody needs to hear your message. However, when you take it and make it into your shtick, I'm like, So what are your thoughts on being authentic and having a place for discernment in what you share and when?
Authenticity is the key there. And I think when you do things that are disingenuous, like cry on cue on your socials to elicit sympathy. And again, as you said, there is a place for vulnerability, but there's a place for authentic vulnerability where, for example, you start telling the story of something and then it chokes you up and you can't control it. That's being vulnerable and allowing yourself to feel and to be human. And I think that does something for other people who are like, oh, this person is human and I'm allowed to be human as well. So I think that's okay. But authenticity is the key, and it is assuming that your audiences are daft and dumb and you think you can play them when you do things like that. Audiences are very smart. All you have to do is look in the comment section of someone. Now, sometimes I try not to, especially with certain things, because they argue about minutia and stupidity. I don't have time for it.
Yeah.
But often you can kind of get a feel for how an audience is receptive, how receptive an audience is to certain ideas, certain things that creators share by the way they respond. So, and if you respond authentically, no worries. But if you're inauthentic and it's shown that you're inauthentic and fraud is soon discovered, it won't bode well for you. So yeah, I think authenticity is very important in the whole content creation process.
Yeah, I completely agree. Hey, shout out to DS, who is here.
Yes.
DS is here, and he asks that audiences are smart and they can quickly spot content that feels fake or overly polished. Authenticity builds credibility and trust, which are crucial for long-term engagement and loyalty. Completely agree. Personally, myself, and hear me when I say I have never been a person for trends. I was the odd duck in school. I was a little militant. I was always like, I don't know why y'all putting all this on here because don't nobody like each other. That was Gwendolyn. It was seen as being negative, but I was just calling a spade a spade. However, when I look at where we are as a society in regards to media, I cannot help but recognize this. What's the right word? Find it, Gwendolyn, find it. I'm going to say troubling need for vanity numbers. Some of y'all need some therapy. Yeah. So speak to us in regards to being more how you can show up in your purpose on video and with what whatever content you are creating. Because some folks are like, I just want to be an influencer, but influencer of what? Because somewhere in there, you have to have some sort of something that you're standing on, or maybe that's just because I'm old. Well, I'm not old. I'm cute.
No.
But, but I just feel, Gwendolyn feels that people are just doing stuff to do stuff. It's like, but what's your purpose? Like, I'm not understanding.
Right. Well, you see what doing stuff to do stuff has garnered for others. When when you see people like, Lord, I've seen what you've done for others. That's exactly what they're trying to do, right? So they see what that type of media has garnered for others, and they want the same type of thing. They want that money. They want that recognition, right? So I see and I get where that comes from. Okay. I think that, how do I say this?
I know.
Yeah. I think that we have been conditioned inside a society that doesn't see us. And for the first time in ever, people see you. Now, is it always for the right reasons? No. Is it always saying the things that are right and that are helpful? No. But all we're concerned about is people see you. And we've been taught to seek attention, but not what type of attention, right? That spills over into everything you do, including the types of videos you create. So if we're going to look at all of this, and I know this is deep and whatever, but nothing starts at zero. Nothing really ever truly starts at zero. There's always an antecedent to whatever action happened. And so if someone is making all these terrible videos, are they just by default a terrible person? Maybe, but more than likely, there are things that cause them to create such things and behave in such a way. So I think we have to look at societal conditions and affirming people more, because when people feel affirmed, they're not seeking attention, which could be the wrong type of attention, by making whatever video. I mean, because if you're just making anything, you're just making anything just to get attention. And again, fraud is always discovered when it comes to those things. But if you're making, there's been so many, listen, I try to stay out of some of these things, but like these feuds with creators and stuff online, I'm like, I don't have time, but I damn interested in what this is about. People putting, there's one young lady who recently, and this is like the second time something like this had happened, where she was dating someone and, twice now. And she didn't put, to two different guys, she did not put him in her videos. And she's a well-known influencer. So when she decided with this second one to put him in the videos, one of the women in the community was like, tried to contact her. She's like, this guy is also dating my friend. Just by her putting it, and this was the first time he was in the video when they went on a trip to Jamaica right away. And then this whole thing ensued. There was a fight at the bowling alley and all of this. Well, needless to say, that really deflated her, because this was like the second time. But again, she grew up, and I'm saying this as part of this, she grew up. Now she has a lot of money now. We went through the process with her when she bought this like $1 million home in Texas, because she lives in Dallas. So bought this $1 million home, has, can buy basically whatever she wants. She's got 2 luxury cars. She supersedes many of the men that she allows into her space, but she didn't come from healthy environment where you saw healthy relationships. And so it doesn't matter how much money you have, you carry that into your adult, lavish life.
Can't Buy Me Love. Wasn't that like an 80s, 90s movies? Okay, I'm gonna come back to that. I'm gonna come back to that. Let me let me share some comments from Diaz. He says, probably the most important, trying to maintain a fake persona is exhausting.
Oh, yes.
It was my thought. Being authentic allows you to create consistently without burn. Here's the deal. You got to know somebody knows your truth at any time. Now, I get that back in the early 2000s, if you call somebody out, they called you a hater. You were like, am I hating? No, you're not hating. You got your friend here with this pint size, mini size, whatever, piece of alcohol, and they've got it scaled just right to make it look like it's this huge magnum bottle. You know that they're not wherever they say they are drinking whatever they think they're drinking. You know that. It's like, why are we telling these lies? Because what's the point? Like, what's the point of that? Now, as a Virgo, I will say this. I kept all my lies in order. Okay. I'm not going to lie about that. You only tell so many because you put too many out there. You don't know how to keep them, lined up. So I never got the whole deal of pretending to have a life you really didn't have. I never understood that mindset at that point because I was a little younger.
Yeah.
As an older adult, I get it. Something inside you is broken and you try to fill some holes. Okay.
Yes. I mean, lest we forget, when Bow Wow was trying to act like he was on a private plane, but he actually was flying commercial and somebody took a picture. Now, should you have blown up his spot like that? No, mind your own business and be on your, but it got out and we found that out. But So this is also a thing. He was in the public eye, right? And is still in the public eye. And so when you are not doing as well as people perceive you should be doing, you do things to pretend. Yeah. You put on your social media, you are here. You create videos that you are there. Listen, we all know, the thing is, smart people know about the music game, know about the Hollywood game, know that you're only as good as your last project. And so you may not have worked for a while. You need to, go and get another job someplace else. And it may not be someplace glamorous that you would like to be.
Sometimes, no, I'm not gonna. Well, yeah, I will say so. No, all the time. I'm trying to find. There are moments when I can say some people like, "Oh my gosh, she's cocky." No, I'm just recognizing what is real for Gwendolyn. I pride myself in having a life that has truly been grounded.
Yes.
Now, I was picked on as a kid. I started my journey for accepting Gwendolyn in 2002. Nope. One, because that's when I cut off my hair. 2002 was like the mental part. There was a physical part to the journey. There's a mental part to the journey. You know what I'm saying? Like there's two parts. But I literally went around my job and everywhere saying, Gwendolyn is cute. Gwendolyn is beautiful. And people thought, well, that's a little odd. Like Ron will tell you, people are like, oh my God, Gwendolyn, you're so cute today. It's like, I'm cute every day. And they didn't get
That's right.
They didn't get it. But when you do the self-affirmations, when you start realizing the person who needs to recognize you is you, you don't need anybody else to tell you what you already know.
Amen.
Right? So when you say Gwendolyn is cute, it's like, yes, you didn't know that. There will be no thank you. Like, well, why'd you say thank you? For what? Telling me the obvious? Sorry? No, I'm not sorry. No, I'm not. But a lot of us don't get that. Like I said, my parents gave us some really good tools to fight the war of someone telling you you're less than, that you don't match this society's idea of what's beautiful. I mean, I get it. Been there, done that. There's far more visuals now than it was when I was growing up. But everybody doesn't get them tools. And the kids who are in this era of everything is visual and on video, and you have kids who are telling you that by the age of 19, you should have a Mercedes, SLK or what have you. It's like, no, kid, no. You might get I don't know, a Prius, maybe a Corolla, maybe a Kia Soul. I don't know, but you're not rocking it like that. Like, you ain't got that kind of money. Like, what? But that's what they have seen for so many years, and that's what they equate to being successful. Now, us old heads, and yes, I said old heads, we gonna tell you, money ain't gonna buy you love, and sure ain't gonna buy you happiness. It will buy you bacon. It will get you some really good chocolate,
and that's happiness for you, right?
Yes,
bacon, chocolate, and champagne are happiness for you.
That's happiness. Dadgummit, that's what it is. So here's my question. In terms of being more For
Okay.
someone who's like, I see all these people doing these successful things and they are, I don't want to say selling their soul, but they are giving up something to get this that does not last, because, you know, it doesn't last. It doesn't keep you warm at night, whatever. How do you not fall into that trap?
You have to have a sense of self and a sense of integrity to begin with. Listen, it's very easy to fall for those things if you don't understand who you are and you don't have integrity. You should always, and I think I said this last time, or I said this somewhere, but this social media conference that I went to, Social Media Miami, one of the speakers was on stage and said, you should be proud of whatever you post. And people who have a sense of self are always proud of it's the people who are not, that are either pretending or walking back what they say, because they're not proud. They want attention and they want to be seen. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's getting that. I mean, I recall from high school the spandex era. And Gwendolyn said, well, that in polka dots. Okay. So, hey.
Yes. Kwame.
So I said, I'm going to wear this spandex dress to school, thinking I'm going to get some attention. Yeah. No. It's just like, this is a no for me.
To school.
These weren't my clothes. Did not feel comfortable. And it was not me. It's like, this ain't it. This is not it, kid. It's not it. And,
wow.
and we can see that even as adults, we got whole adults out here who still are in a place of trying to get someone's attention. And it really depends on what era you grew up in. You could be the one of be seen, not heard. You know, don't brag, don't boast, don't do all this kind of stuff. And so you come in sort of mild-mannered and you're still hearing that person in your head saying, you know, good girls don't do this. Let me not go to one of my other topics for another project, but that's
for another time.
Girl, you know, Ron says, I had a friend who posted on social that he was at the opera and was right here on my sofa. Character flaw, friends no more. I do find it
at the opera.
It's so interesting how people will, I don't know, create this whole other something. We could live a very fulfilling life, and you don't have to travel all over this world to do it. You really don't. There is so much happening in our own communities. You have to get out there and get it. But you also have to know, as you mentioned, you know, who are you and what makes you happy? What brings you joy? There are people here who love like Comic-Con and the Renaissance Festival and cosplay. It is not where Gwendolyn resides. But if that's your thing, then do your thing. Find your people. I'm a Prince fan. I can go to any city, any place. I mentioned Prince, and all of a sudden you got like people. What? What did you do? What did you have? Like, do you. Be proud of who you are and put that out there.
Yes. So if you have that sense of self and you know who you are going to create things that are in alignment with who that is. And you won't have to worry about falling for every little scheme and pyramid thing. You won't have to worry about that, because it is easy to do those types of things. It is easy to fall for it, but I don't, because number one, as you said, keeping track of the lies and the half-truth and fables and fairy tales is too difficult. Who wants to do that? But number two, I so appreciate and like who I am. Why would I lie? Why make up something? Okay, I'm not at the opera. I'm on my couch. And so say something.
Right? Now, I will say this, and this is only because it makes sense. I will typically share something anywhere from 2 weeks to 2 years old. Now, it happened. I didn't say when it happened. All I know is it happened. Because the video says it. They're like, oh my God, you're on your trip, girl. Nah, that was last year. Right?
But that makes sense, though, because that's also a safety thing.
It's safety.
Not letting everybody know where you are in the moment. And I get it. It it is tempting to, in the moment, post those types of things. Now, again, when you're live, like I do live streaming from places, that's something that you can't avoid.
Yeah.
But if you were like posting and then you're saying, hey, we're at such and such. Thank you for letting me know you're not home.
Yeah. It's like, because times are different now. Hey, shout out to Lisa Seeley, who is here.
Lisa.
Hello, Lisa. Serena is like, oh, wow. Booty that old friend. Man, people doing some things. It's interesting to say the least. Chris says, some people don't know what brings them joy and makes them happy, so they live in the spaces inverted. Man, let me say this really quick. I don't know how many times as a person who interview people, I would just say, who are you? And it would freak people out. Because depending on your programming, you were never taught to talk about yourself and focus on you. If you're a woman, especially, you rarely had someone who wanted to help you figure out who you are, what makes you happy, what brings you pleasure, what brings you joy.
Right.
That one part of programming. Now, I'm not going to share what programming Gwendolyn got into when she found her voice. You know what I'm saying? But, hey, you got to get to a place of knowing who you are. Otherwise, how do you show up authentically? And at any point, you can find it. Now, there is a gentleman who is a makeup artist. God, I think his name is like Jose something. Love his voice, love his work. But he put out a video recently about how he has now decided to show all of himself on social media because he was working to do this one, if you will, persona, and it burns him out. He's like, I love DJing, I love music, I love this, I love that, I do film. And again, as an educator, we have got to get away from you pick one path of how you show up and how you are creative. We are gifted. Play with all of the crayons in the damn box. That's what Gwendolyn's doing.
And if you tend to be a creative person, you probably have other talents, either related or unrelated to it, because you're a creative. So you work differently and you process things differently because of that. So yeah, play with all the crayons in the box or colored pencils, whichever.
Colored. So it's like, I got colored pencils. I'm part of the junior high school team. DS says success means different things, different people. Some define it by what they have, others by who they become. Man, I just had a chat about that like a week ago. And you have to define it for yourself versus living in someone else's idea of what is successful and even their idea of who you are. There are people who are attracted to the idea of who you are, but not who you are.
Yes,
I've
exactly.
had that. People meet me in person and they're like, oh, she's nothing like I assumed. I don't know how, because all that foolishness, that is 100% Gwendolyn at all times.
You know what? That just hit me. Well, and we appreciate you for it. So there are two things. There is going back to the point that you were talking about not knowing who they are when you ask them. There's an exercise that I used to do with one of my classes, that communication class, and it's called. There were two things. So I would have them start off the semester with these questions: Who am I? Wait, what is it? Who am I? What, I can't remember exactly now, but who am I is one of them. And then what am I willing to put everything on the line for is another one. So there were three. And why am I missing the middle question? Because I haven't done it in so long. There's three questions. And so when they had to answer, who am I? Society tells you who you are initially, and you just believe it. You don't understand who you are as a human being for yourself until somebody tells you that from when we were little initially. So what happens is you just internalize these things and it becomes who you are. So you never really know who you are through your own lens unless you do some introspective work, and then later on that becomes who you are. And then we can see this in terms of being more and in terms of video and live stream. We see this in the products that people create. They have no sense of self. It's a persona that they were told, and this is what I went with. And then later on, this is when they start to shift. You know, I'm shifting to something else that I want to do because this is not all of who I am, or this is not exactly who I am.
Oh, Dr. Tachi, I see.
Yes.
Now we had this conversation. As I was saying, like, I go into a lot of networking spaces. I've had this chat with Ron as well. When people ask me, what do you do? I lead with, here's my purpose in life. And for some people, it freaks them out. They're like, I'm not understanding, because a lot of us were trained, programmed to lead with our current job, career, task.
Correct.
I am a doctor. I am a veterinarian. I work, I do. It's like, but that's not who you are. I am not my job. I am not.
Exactly.
Now, I make money legitimately, right? Like, I'm not out here doing things in the streets, but that's not who I am at all. My purpose, what I do, how I am active in my community, how I help other people, that is who Gwendolyn is, if you're going to sum me up. But it's not the current job I have at this moment. It's not how I make money. That ain't it. But that takes a lot of work, a lot of internal work to get to a place like that. The same way DS was mentioning about success, the question I had people were like, what makes you happy? Like, how do you define success? How do you define it? Now, if you're a person who wants to agree with society's idea of being a colonizer, sucking up everything you see in sight, that's fine. I'm not hating on you for doing that.
Exactly.
Just recognize that the people that you are celebrating, half of them are renting or leasing what you're looking at.
Hello.
Right?
Yes.
Get beyond the facade. Recognize what's real. But you know what? I don't know. We had that kind of time, as Chris was like, he got markers. He getting fancy. He got markers.
Oh, good markers. Good for you.
I got the big box of crayons, like that 128 that has the sharpener in the back. I got that one.
Nope.
So
my mother was like 8 crayons. And see, this is again, I went to Catholic school. So they were like, they told us, you may not bring your box of 64 crayons. You will have 8, and that's what you will use. If you want to make colors, you mix them together. So you're taught. But again, remember, in Catholic school, I was at a school that was the Sisters of St. Joseph. And remember, nuns take a vow of poverty. So they don't want you to have either. So we can't have neither can you. No 64 box of crayons.
Oh, yes. Social media has become a stage where too many chase numbers instead of purpose. Cloud has replaced character, and authenticity often gets lost in the noise. Okay, DS. Okay. I'm finna find this collection plate. I'm finna find it. He says success isn't
the
about
doors of the church,
likes, or views. It's about impact, integrity, and staying true to who you are. In a world obsessed with going viral, real will always outlast fake. You know what? I was going to go out and get me a mic so I can start doing mic drops. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm liable to break something.
Not with the mic that you're using. You need like maybe one that's damaged already.
I need something else. Hey, Jazzy is here.
Jazzy.
Shout out to Jazzy. He says, am I preaching, good Ron? Am I preaching? Yes, sir. You are bringing all of it. You are bringing it. This is why we say, be aware of the company you keep, right? Surround yourself with good people, because it only can feed you and grow you, right? In terms of being more I don't know why I do that. I'm sorry. I got to cut that out.
That's okay. No, that's okay. Make them your own.
I despise what do you do? I despise what do you do people. Yeah. Trust. We are all there. I mean, I believe people who have any sense of character or integrity are like, well, I'm I'm not getting it. Serena says, we are about to pass the collection plate. Yes, everybody gonna pass
Yes.
this collection plate.
Yes.
We finna pass
Yes.
it. Ron said he had 128 colors. And so did Serena.
All
said,
you fancy people with your fancy crayons.
After she got out of Catholic school.
Exactly. Because they don't want you to have any more than 8.
No more than 8. Dr. Tachi, let me roll this into one as we are coming into a time.
To a close, yeah.
What is your, I'm going to say, lasting piece of advice for any of us to be more in the way we show up on our social media networks or platforms?
Okay, platforms. And I would add videos.
Okay.
Know who you are. Know who you are. Know who you are. You cannot. There was something I wanted to share really quickly as we're wrapping this up. So, the whole concept of the Johari window, the 4 panes of the self. So it's a psychology concept, but obviously psychology is the basis for my field, communication. And so there are 4 panes of the self: the open self, the blind self, the hidden self, and the unknown self. So I always used to do an exercise with my students. And I said, okay, you could do this at home, get a container, and you are going to, on the outside, which is the open self, that's the stuff that everybody knows about you, you know about yourself. Write all those things down on the outside, right? Also, ask people about the unknown self. Those are the things that you don't know you do, or things about you don't know, but other people, because they're objective and they're looking at you. So the hidden self is the things that you keep to yourself, hidden, like secrets, right? And then the unknown self are things you don't really know about yourself and others don't know. That usually comes out through hypnosis. So I have them do that and I say, you don't know about the unknown, but you know the hidden. Now, don't put things that are uncomfortable for you. If you don't want to, put it inside the box and then bring it in. When I tell you they're not children, they're like adults. They would come in with all these things like, I really am upset because I disappointed my grandmother when I went to jail for having a gun. I mean, they would tell me, they would come in and tell some and start crying. I'm like, why? I said, you don't have to tell me that, but they needed to do that because nobody listens to them. And this actually gave them a window into themselves. The Johari window is the 4 panes of the self. And you're never asked this. And so you don't have to do it. So I think it was emotional for them because they had to start to come to terms with who they are. When you know that, that's how you can show up better on social media. That's how you can show up better in video and live streams, more authentic and more of who you are. So hopefully that answers a long-winded way of doing it, but I wanted to demonstrate that you have to do the work to understand who you are. Otherwise, everything you do is really a facade.
I believe that was spot on. And the best way to bring this to a close as we get our last few comments in here, Lisa says, because they only are asking to judge you and to see what you can do for them most of the time. That is true. We didn't even get into like how to look at partnerships. Maybe some other time.
I'm down for it. I'm down for it.
Unfortunately, that is the leading question in the DMV, to which I respond, who are you? People got to get into doing some work. This nation, we got a lot of work to do. A lot of work. So I don't want people to leave without knowing how to connect with Dr. Tachi. And I have included what I thought could be your best places. How dare I just assume some things, but I'm gonna take that. I'm good for being a smart ass, Dr. Tachi. I'm good for being a smart ass.
Perfect.
We have included here that you can link up with her on LinkedIn. She is also Dr. Tachi on Instagram. And then you can also see all of her great videos on YouTube, also under Dr. Tachi. So be sure to look for her there. I will also share that next week we have Letta coming here from the boardroom to backdrops. Yes, we got a photographer sharing her story, her journey with us. I'm excited to have her. She's also going to talk about networking. And then if you haven't already, you can get on the GRH Jack newsletter. I do a little something, you know, I got a little inspirational something in me, believe it or not. All right, y'all already know, because I'm going to give you a lesson. I'm going to give you a sermon.
Yes.
I'm going to bless you in some form or fashion. So I'm going to give DS the last comment here as he says, also as my last sermon today, we all have different DNA, fingerprints, and your own voice tone. You are special and important. Be yourself, not someone else. There will only be one you. You will never have competition if you are who you are. You know, I just bought a shirt. That's that. I kid you not. Because G go represent G. Like, I love me some G. I'm a cute little something, you know what I mean? I'm a cute little something. But I just got a shirt that said that.
You are the original G5G. Remember from school days? You are the original G5G. Okay?
No. Who would have ever thought the kid who was picked on would be at this position, right? Lisa says, I asked nosy folks what publication are they doing an interview for. That usually shuts them down. Oh my goodness. Lord bless. Thank you, Lisa. So I can always count on Lisa for something good. So everybody, I will say, Dr. Tachi, thank you for bringing your genius again to the Small Biz Bites stage.
Thank you. And look at us having a conversation without calamity on air.
Man. Now, like I said, I got a little something in my cup. I'm not going to lie to you. But no confetti, no powder bombs, very few other little things happening. But yeah, I'm happy that we did it today. We did it. The gremlins said, we're not gonna bother them today because they have a really good message today. So we're not gonna bother them today.
Exactly. Not today, Satan.
Not today, Satan. Not today.
Yes.
Oh my God, everybody! Thank you for tuning in, sharing your comments with us, giving us your ideas as well, because that's the whole point of this, is to get everybody's genius, put it all together, and just relish in it, right? Not one person knows everything. So thank you all for tuning in today. We hope to see all of you next week when we have Letta here. And I think I'm going to play my outro and finish my cocktail.
Thank you for watching another episode of Small Biz Bites with Gwendolyn R. Houston Jack, where we chat with other creatives and small business owners about their journey. And we also invite you to like, share, and subscribe to the GR Houston Jack YouTube channel, where you can get the latest and greatest.